Parece que la puta Gira España no fue
Had a lot of
suficiente.
HP thresholds today, and he's like so close to dying, but they don't die. And then we climax. And this is the final climax. Bayonetta and Boulder, with their powers of light and dark together, they summon Omne, which is a summon of both light and dark here. You can see from the light here and the dark here. Omne lifts her leg, and she steps on Ace here. Or more like she kicks him, yeah. She separates his spirit from his body. And here's Jean. For this segment, depending on what costume you get Bayonetta to wear, Jean will be in the corresponding costume. So she's in the peppy costume or poppy costume, yeah. For Star Fox, yeah. She's in the orange costume. So she makes it. Jean summons Gamora. Gamora comes and munches on Ace's body and has a say. Next, so for Bayonetta speedrunning, we don't stop the timer on the first set of credits because there's still fights that need to be performed here. So time will stop on the final enemy death, on the final fight of the credits, which I'll call out once we get there. But until then, I hope you'll enjoy the groovy music, and if there's any donations that need to be read, this is a very good opportunity.
Absolutely. I have $25 from Dark Magnolia, and it says, "Hi, thank you for making these amazing events. It's so nice to see Gala playing one of my favorite games. Send you all a huge hug."
Thank you.
And $50 from Tyler, saying, "Bayonetta is one of my absolute favorite game series. I'm super happy I could catch this run live. You are killing it, Gala. Keep up all the awesome work, GDQ staff. You are all amazing." And then $25 from OutTP that says, "Great job with the run, Gala. Happy to donate to Malala Fund." And chat, we did get through 56K by the end of the night. Congratulations. I have a $5 donation from Lemon Paris that says, "It's not much, but here's my contribution towards breaking 56K. Thank you so much for that. I also have $100 from T Deltas that says, "56K hype. Shout out to the cat and the other two."
Cool. Yeah, keep going. There's quite a few fights in the credits.
Okay, awesome. A Mind Half Full donates $50 and says, "Been watching all week and had to donate during Bayonetta 2, one of my favorite games of all time. Thanks to everyone involved in putting on such a great marathon for such a good cause." And 100 from Kamikaze that says, "Appreciate everything you all do. I'm not always able to watch, but when I am, I'm always glad to see the stream supporting such a great cause." And as a small update, chat, you were absolutely right. It's Final Fantasy VII tomorrow, and the stairs versus elevator, it looks like stairs is still...
So very important for me to keep an eye. And that's the end of our Remembrance of Tomorrow. The next chapter will be dedicated to a boss fight, which is Parece, the Gates of Paradise.
Sure, I'm down with that. I've got $10 from Failed Uplink, and it says, "Donation for the Great Malala Fund and to see Cloud do cardio. Take the stairs." And as a reminder, you can donate to the incentives that are open for tomorrow's run, so there is that bid going on for stairs versus elevator for the Final Fantasy VIII Remake Intergrade. So feel free to continue to donate, and those incentives, they're pretty good for tomorrow. You should check them out for sure. And then I have $100 from Code and Data that says, "Thanks to everyone behind the scenes making this happen. Happy to be supporting the great work of Malala Fund. Good luck, have fun, and go fast." I also have $50 from Mechanalist Tom that says, "Keep up the amazing work for an amazing cause."
So let's show is almost coming to an end. So that's the opening of the game, and now we have the first chapter, which is the prologue, which is called World of Chaos. Now, the prologue, in my opinion, is probably one of the most important chapters of the game for setting up the run, because the main objective that we have, not only to go fast in this chapter, but also to get a lot of money, to buy items that are going to be, that we're going to want to buy earlier on in the run.
Te lleva la chingada, Joaquín.
Punch, kick, weapon switching. So I do a punch, and then I hold down a kick, and then I switch weapon sets to cancel out the continuation of that attack combo, and the kick, with the bullets coming out, does a lot of damage. Another thing that we're going to be doing to try and get a lot of money is taunting enemies. When Bayonetta taunts, she says, "If you need to learn how to talk to a lady, ask your mum." And then the enemies turn bright red and get taunted. On the side of the screen, you'll notice that it says combo points, and then there's a number. For the duration of this first segment, I'm going to try and hold that combo point score without dropping, so that we can get a lot of money at the end of this. Another important mechanic of the game is called Umbran Climax. Umbran Climax is like a super mode where Bayonetta will throw out a lot of damage through her Wicked Weaves. Underneath Bayonetta's health bar, to the top left, the green health bar, there are these purple orbs. When those orbs fill up to be full, Bayonetta can then use Umbran Climax and throw out a lot of flurries of Wicked Weaves. Wicked Weaves are usually the combo finishes to her attacks, which are these large feet or large hands. But when Umbran Climax is activated,
A mí por más
she can throw
puerquito
out not only
siempre
them,
ha
but
sido
also
así.
lots of other waves. Like this. So each of her attacks has a large Wicked Wave attached to it, which is very good for hitting multiple enemies, especially in this setting. So I taunt, and then another mechanic of Bayonetta is Witch Time. Witch Time happens when Bayonetta successfully dodges an enemy attack, or something that could do damage to her. And when time it slows down time, making enemies a lot more vulnerable to attacks, as Bayonetta can wail on them and do a lot of damage while they're immobile. And yeah, we hope to get 1 million combo score for that segment, like I just did. This enemy is called a Belief. At the start of this segment, we use Umbran Climax and shoot a lot of the Umbran Climax bullets. Bullet damage is really important in Bayonetta, so holding down your attacks to get those bullets to come out really helps with getting damage off on enemies. When we throw a weave at him, he goes off, get Wish Time when he comes back, and then he should go to the next part. Hitting which time is really important too for taking advantage of situations. When number climax is active, the bullets number climax are really important to take use of. And then we can take belief down. Now at the end of some fights, there will be a climax prompt where there is a cinematic. Bayonetta summons one of her infernal demons. For the belief here, she summons Gamora, which she summons with her hair as the medium. For those who don't know Bayonetta, Bayonetta is a witch, so you're going to be seeing a lot of demonic stuff like that here throughout the course of the game. Gamora comes along and munches up the belief. Gamora was a good boy to help out Bayonetta for that fight, but then he goes bad, so Bayonetta has to
We have to take it down.
Bad boy Gamora. So now Gamora's a good boy to help out Bayonetta for that fight, but then he goes bad, so Bayonetta has to take him down. Bad boy Gamora. So now Gamora's going to be climbing up this building, and Bayonetta has to put him down. Very cinematic fights in this game. When this prompt comes, I make use of it. As Bayonetta gets mad and Butterfly, another one of her demonic summons to come and punch Gamora in the face, which does a lot of damage. I taunt him, as taunting will give me extra combo score. And because it does so much damage, he won't attack until he gets to the top of the tower. And then his health is 0, we just have to wait to take him down. Like this. Bayonetta looks like she's in trouble because she's getting chased by Gamora down the building, but she's okay because she's going to be summoning another one of her infernal demons whose name is Leveless. And he is a good boy. And he takes down Gamora. And that's the end of the prologue. So yeah, at the end of this, we hope to have a lot of currency so that we can buy some items in this next chapter. And this chapter is not in the City of Genesis. Throughout the course of the run, purchasing items is very important, as you're going to be seeing as we progress onward. So very important for me to keep an eye on my currency. Now, once entering this chapter, we get a technique by default, which is called Panther Within or Beast Within. Jumping and running in Panther form is the fastest form of movement for online movement, so you're going to be seeing that a lot for the course of the speedrun. There are a few skips in Bayonetta 2, and there's one coming up right now. Using Bayonetta's movement, there's a fight in the middle here, but using her movement, you can actually avoid the fight trigger and squeeze Bayonetta around the fight. So there's quite a few fights along the course of the Bayonetta 2 speedrun, which I like that, because the triggers are small enough to squeeze around, which is nice for the speedrun. So now we're going to go into the shop, the store which is called the Gates of Hell, and we're going to be buying some items. I'll be purchasing some lollipops, which is a consumable item. Also going to be purchasing a technique, which is called Witch Twist. I'll be important a bit later. And I'm going to be buying a very important treasure, which is one of the main reasons why we wanted to get so much currency, which is a super mirror. Now, mirrors in Bayonetta give you access to certain costumes, and there's actually a costume in particular in Bayonetta 2 which makes the speedrun faster. So it's not entirely cosmetic. So I'll get to show that off once we get to put it on. But it is a requirement to be on the chapter select menu to put it on, so we're going to be putting it on at the end of this chapter. That angel that you see there, that angel's name is Glamour. We're going to be dealing with him a bit later. When going through here, I'm going to be equipping some of the lollipops. Lollipops, when used, give Bayonetta some benefits during combat. I bought some red as well as purple lollipops. Now, red lollipops in the game give Bayonetta extra attack damage. So that during fights, yeah, she will perform more damage. Now, when you have Umbra Climax activated, Bayonetta will summon different infernal demons depending on what combos you perform. So that's something to keep an eye out for. Is different infernal demons will get summoned, depending on the waves that you get. After this fight, there is a golden LP record that spawns in. These golden LPs, when exchanged at the store, Bayonetta will get certain weapons, and that's one weapon in particular that we're going to want for a bit later. So this fight, we use Umbra Climax. And we use a red lollipop, extra attack damage. Try and fire these bullets into his leg. Try and weigh one thing and then climax. After Bayonetta defeats him, she summons Madame Butterfly. Madame Butterfly takes his sword and completely wrecks his inside. She just stabs him over and over like that. Success fight. Activate Umbra Climax and then do a punch. Double kick in the air. It summons this bat, which is very good for hitting multiple enemies in the area. So we use that. Now here there's going to be a bit of dialogue, and you just have to wait. So if there's any donations that need to be read, this is a good opportunity to do so.
That's no way to talk to a lady. No wonder your guardian angel's trying to give you a good spanking. Whatever, love. You've already been following me, so let's make a deal. You save me, I'll show you around the stores. Planning to fiddle that, are we? That makes two of us. And it'll take two of us, won't it, love? You see...
Okay. So after that, we collect a crafting book for concocting. One thing that Bayonetta can do is she can craft lollipops herself, and we're going to be wanting to do that a bit later in the run. As there is a limit to how many lollipops you can buy at the store, but crafting allows you to carry more than the limit, and we're going to want that for you in-game, so I'll get to show that off once we get there. Getting which time here is really important for taking advantage of these enemies as they go very fast. We use Umbra Climax when we get the bat out. Try and hit multiple enemies. Leaves are very important. And then I taunt after the fight to keep the combo points on hold so that we can continue it when the next fight comes in. This enemy has quite a bit of damage. This enemy has quite a bit of health, sorry. So I use a Mega Red Lollipop so that we can have that extra attack damage for that fight.
Me quedé chaparro.
This is Glamour, whom we saw earlier. Start of his fight, I'm gonna
Por más
gonna dodge.
puerquito.
Hit which time, activate Umbral Climax, punch, punch, kick. One of those bullets hit him.
Siempre ha sido así.
I'm going to the menu and I'm going to be using a Mega Purple Lollipop. Purple Lollipops give Bayonetta. It fills up her magic meter. And we can have access to Umbral Climax. And then we can take them again. Bayonetta summons Madame Butterfly again. She stomps on Glamour's head and he goes down. For the next chapter, we're going to want to go to the store and purchase more lollipops, as well as we retrieve the Rakshasa, which is a pair of dual swords, which we're going to see shown up in the next chapter.
Things are back, and I do have some time for donations if you'd like.
Not yet, thank you.
Okay, all right, I will wait. No problem. Sorry for that.
So this is chapter 2, Remembrance of Time. One thing that I did was I equipped the costume that I had bought, which is the Star Fox costume in Bayonetta 2. Now, the reason why we wear this costume is because Bayonetta will actually shoot more bullets in this costume. Bullets means more damage, and more damage means that enemies will die faster, so very important for the speedrun. And the swords can do this spinning move, which is very good for hitting multiple enemies that are clumped together. So, yeah, it's going to be used for some certain fights along the course of the run. I'll be taking the swords off and putting the guns back on. And then we go through here. Now, if you have any donations to read now, is a good time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I have $25 from Mad1 that says, good luck, Gala. I have $50 from Razor360 that says, Gala, Gala, she's our girl. Gala gang, we're all pals. Good luck on the run, Gala. Kick and punch those angels back to heaven. And just to let everyone know, we do have the incentives open for bonus game 3 at $81,396.18, aka as much as was made at Fleet Fatales. So that incentive is going. Feel free to donate towards that for bonus game 3.
Okay, awesome. So from this chest to the side here, I'll be collecting more crafting materials. I need that a bit later. Now what I perform there is a fight skip. So using that technique, which is called the witch twist, you can actually skip the first fight in this segment by going over the top of the trigger, so that you just have to perform this fight with the belief. And I'll be wailing him and he goes down. After this fight, Bayonetta summons Infernal Demon, who is a frog. His name is Baal. Baal comes along, wraps the tongue around the belief, and swallows him up. And that's the end of Remembrance of Time. The next chapter will be dedicated to a boss fight, which is Parece, the Gates of Paradise. So you can notice the bullets, how it divides off into two, how she shoots more bullets in this costume by comparison to when she's in her default costume. So at the start of this chapter, Bayonetta is following Glamour on this water vortex. A little bit of dialogue on this. There isn't too much required for me to do in this segment, other than to make sure that I just continue shooting at him and also do purposely take damage at times to make this segment go faster. So if there's any more donations that need to be read, you're most welcome to read some more.
Awesome. I have $100 from Will that says, Malala is so inspiring, and I appreciate any cause that results in a GDQ. Thank you so much. And then $25 from Althea that just says, less than 3. And by the way, that bonus game 3 is new Pokemon Snap. I forgot to mention, it's an important thing to know. That is what you're donating for the next bonus game. Time for one more?
Yeah, keep going.
Okay, cool. $100 from Poorly Plays that says, so grateful for all the effort and preparation put into this event and all the money that has been raised for such a great cause so far. Let's keep it going.
In this segment, we have to dodge, and then we have to do a bit of button mashing for our prompts. So now instead of being on the outside of the vortex, we're now going to be on the inside with Glamour. Okay, you'll notice when I'm shooting, if you look at Glamour's health bar, he will take these little ticks of damage. So, yeah, important just to keep shooting whenever Glamour is around. There are some buildings, so just have to try and not get into them. And when Glamour appears in this segment, I do want to dodge when he does a bite, like this. So I do 2 punches and a kick, and then I switch weapon sets and do that again. When he fires ice, he can actually just jump over the top, so I just do that to avoid it. Just touch again, do the same. Make sure that he's at a threshold. At the end of this vortex, there will be a building that breaks up into many pieces. Just try to go to the side. Now coming out of it, now Parece.
Te lleva la chingada, Joaquín.
These wings are from another one of her summons whose name is Malphus from the
Me
first game.
faltaban centímetros.
Now we have these ones that we have to defeat. I use a red lollipop for extra attack damage. Fire a lot of bullets. Shoot the waves. I taunt in between them so we can get extra currency. from your attack combo points. And then we keep going. When Glenna comes here, I can actually do punch, kick, weapon switching so that those bullets from her feet can hit him even when he's at a distance. And then we can take him down. The three glamours come to try and get Bayonetta, but what does she do? She teases them, and she summons another one of her infernal demons, which is like a horse with a unicorn blade on its head. His name is Diomedes, if said correctly. Or Diomedes. The next chapter is the two me. But before a lot of the chapters on the Bayonetta speedrun, we go into the shop and replenish lollipops, because these lollipops greatly help with making fights faster along the course of the run. So you're going to be seeing we purchase a lot for each chapter. At the start here, you'll see that there is a bridge in front of us. There is a fight trigger on top of that bridge. However, using panther jumping and then grabbing the side like that, we can avoid the trigger to do that fight, and we can skip it. Looking up the sky, there is a moon, and when the moon is out, Bayonetta can perform this technique, which is called witch walk, which allows Bayonetta to walk on the walls. So right now, Bayonetta will be walking on the walls of this building. This fight spawns in. I put on the sword so that we can hit multiple enemies at once. This enemy is rather annoying because he has a big shield, which he likes to put in front of him, which makes it a lot harder for me to get access to doing nice damage to him. So we just have to use the waves to click open his shield and then take him down. I don't like shields. This large enemy comes in, and during the cutscene, you can actually dodge to get witch time. So I get witch time, changing the swords to the guns. I do 3 punches, then a kick. Punch, kick, weapon switch, punch, kick. Then another kick, you get the wicked wave. I go to the side, put a lot of bullets into his leg, kick once again, and another kick, and you can kill him before he even gets a chance to attack. Bayonetta summons good boy Leveless, and Leveless comes to launch up the angel. And take him down. And then we just have to run along to the next fight. There are some enemies that spawn there, but it's not a requirement to verse them, so we just progress onwards. And now we're going to be versing the Lumen Sage. At the start of his fight, he always does that move. We're going to do punch, kick, weapon switching, because you'll notice that he can get staggered, get stunned, I should say. This punch, kick, weapon switching can also be done in Umbra Climax. You'll notice the big punch and kick waves. Going to be using a purple lollipop as well as a mega red lollipop for attack damage. And one thing with Umbra Climax is that if you use purple lollipops while using Umbra Climax, you can extend how long Umbra Climax lasts for. So that's what we do there with the smaller purple lollipops, so we can extend it longer. The little punch out segment where Madame Butterfly is having a brawl with Temperance. And then that's the end of the chapter. That part is always a little bit goofy. Yeah, very cute. Now, before the next chapter, I'm just going to buy some items at the store. So if there's a quick donation you want to slip in, this is a good time.
Yeah, would love to. I have $5 from Yes Cups. It says, "Good luck, Bella. You got this. Thank you for bringing more attention to such an important cause. Lesson 3.
Thank you. So this is chapter 5, the Cathedral of Cascades. Now, at the start of this chapter, Bayonetta gets a new technique, which is called Snake Movement, I'm pretty sure, where she now gets a snake form, which is a faster form of movement for underwater. So now whenever we are underwater, we're going to be using this snake form to go a bit faster. Snake form is a little bit hard to control at times, but we'll do our best to use it to bit fast. And I have to keep pressing down the button so that she gets faster. Entering this room, this is an underground graveyard. You'll notice around Bayonetta right now there are these graves, these tombstones. Bayonetta has to interact with this contraption, which she uses as a stripper pole to turn it, and you can see what happens as this contraption is getting activated. It reforms the bridge, which we want to go across. Now, after activating it, there is an enemy that spawns in. This is a demonic enemy. His name is Pain. Very important to try and get which time from his attacks. And then we find this. Bayonetta summons the horse, and the horse turns Pain into junk metal, slices him up, and that's the end of that fight. This area fills with water, and we have to get to the top, so we go in snake form and we make our way to the ground floor. Grab here. There's a bit of NPC dialogue that needs to be taken place, so this is a very good opportunity for quite a few donations to be read.
Alrighty. Chrissy donates $100 and says, "Glad I can donate to a very worthy cause. Thank you so much for your donation." I have $54 from Will at Work, saying, "In memory of my mother who was killed 6 years ago, a lifelong teacher and artist. She would have loved this cause. Gaming plus learning plus women for the win." Thank you so much for that donation. And I have $100 from I Am Given that just says, "Here you go." I also have $50 from Muffins07 that just says, "And Knuckles." And I believe that is referring to the Knuckles gloves incentive for tomorrow, which if you don't know, for Sonic Adventure DX Director's Cut, if met, the runner will wear a pair of Knuckles gloves during that run. And we are almost at 1,000 out of 2,500, so keep the donations coming in for that.
Awesome. At the top of this sphere, there's a fight that emerges, and I'm going to be re-equipping the swords, as there's going to be multiple enemies clumped together. The swords don't have an incredible amount of DPS, but The fact that it can hit multiple enemies is a great advantage for fights such as these, as it keeps the enemies together, and yeah, doing multiple damage to them is very good. By the way, these enemies spawning in can be a little bit strange. The hitbox also for the swords is quite big, so we just keep doing the spinning. And one thing I'm doing with this spinning is jump cancelling, so I do the attack, spin, and then I jump cancel, and then do it again so we can perform the attack faster with the swords. Now we're going to be playing as Loki. Loki's an NPC which has been with Bayonetta throughout the story of the game. He's getting chased by Gravitas, which is like this larger ice elemental angel. I just want to make sure that he doesn't catch up to Loki. And I'm jumping with Loki because he will go a bit faster while jumping compared to with his normal running speed. So we're just going to be doing that. Loki forms this area, reforms it, and now we're going to be back to playing as Bayonetta. So I change the source for the guns. I go to the side, activate Umbran Climax, and my objective here is to try to do damage to both of the large enemies and keeping them together. Final with the large wicked wave. Use a red lollipop as well for extra attack damage. Try to do where I can, if I can. Don't like it when they jump. That wasn't very nice of him to do. But we take them down. When they're in the air, they're a little bit harder to get hold of, especially when they're running away like that too. But yeah, trying to use the waves you can get them to get both of them and keep them together. So that's what we try and do there. Now this next chapter, The Bridge to the Heavens, is dedicated to a boss fight. This chapter is fairly short, so yeah. This was the bridge that we reformed, and then while we're going across the bridge, there is a naughty angel who comes along and decides to break it. This guy's name is Valor. He can do attacks which are not very nice, since he can... Yeah, he can also go out of the arena, which is not very nice. Don't like when he does attacks where he's not up close to me. This is probably my favorite attack that he does, because it means I can play around him quite a bit. I've got to personally take damage here because if you get wish time in certain segments like this one, it will make it go slower, because you just want him to progress to the next part of his fight as soon as possible. Try and get wish time. And then yeah, once we take out his health, we can take him down. Brandon summons an Infernal Demon, which is a Hydra, which comes to wrap around and take hold of Valor. Valor cuts the water and creates a portal, which Loki and Bayonetta get sucked into, while he gets sucked into hell. On his way to death, yeah. And that's it. Next chapter is the Ark. I'm just going to be going to the store to purchase some more lollipop consumables. I was going to buy a technique which is called Bat Within. Bat Within extends Banner's dodge range, so if she were to get hit and I were to dodge on the exact timing, she could also get witch time that way, so that will help with combat for certain fights as well. So this chapter, we're starting off with a fight against Insidious, which is like this large demonic manta ray. I told him so that we're going to get the combo points for some more currency. We have to attack Insidious's eyes. Get witch time from the tentacles around the eyes. And we progress onwards. Because this fight is underwater, you can go into snake form, and yeah, Insidious will fire these missiles. We just have to try and snake our way around so that we don't get, hopefully don't get damaged by them. That's okay, it's not a big deal. We taunt again. And climax. A little bit scary there, but it's okay. That's okay. Now, it is a requirement here to get sucked into Insidious's mouth. It's scripted, so we try and position Bayonetta in such a way that that will happen as soon as possible. We just have this fight to do. Got Batman in there, very good. Unfortunate, look at his health. Unfortunate, that's okay. We'll go back in. It should put me fairly close. Oh, well, how about that? It checkpointed me right there. Well, that's good. I wasn't sure if it was going to take me far back. But yeah, it basically put me right before, because yeah, I depleted his health. Anyway, that's fine. Lucky does a laser against the manta ray's laser, and blue laser is stronger than the purple one, so we take it down. That death actually was quite fortunate, because now I will have full health for the next two fights, which is actually pretty good to have, because I think I could lose more time actually going here than that place, so that was actually very good. Now these are called Hideous, which are a type of demonic creatures that are inside this Insidious's body, because yeah, we got sucked up into another manta ray after defeating the other one, so now we're inside the body of it. Now the next fight, we're going to be facing someone that we've seen before. It is the Living Sage. I can't quite remember why in the world he is inside Insidious's body right now, but that's okay. We're going to do punch, kick, weapon switching. Try and get which time that we can. Now with Umbran Climax, when I see the magic meter get to about half, I use another purple lollipop so we can continue this combination. And keep going. This is an angel. His name is Suficiente. Suficiente is from the first game. He fires some missiles at Bayonetta, and Bayonetta summons the Hydra, the demonic Hydra, and the Hydra misdirects the missiles to go elsewhere. So yep, Suficiente gets ready to fire laser, and the Hydra misdirects the lasers as well. And this is all happening within the body of the insidious manta ray, and he can't take it anymore, and he just explodes. So that happens. Now we're just going to go into the shop again. Now this chapter is an ancient civilization. So this is going to be in a different realm. You're going to see the setting is very colourful and, yeah, quite different than what we've seen before. A lot of blues and purples in this place. Now what we're going to be performing here, using the witch twist technique, you can actually get an infinite height glitch. So you can continuously use this to make it across distances. There is a fight trigger back there where you have to verse a demonic creature called Greed. But instead of having to perform that fight, you can actually do this technique to make it across, like this. There's a portal here, but we don't have access to it yet. We have to defeat this golem. This enemy, the golem, has several different forms. It is most vulnerable when it is spread out like this. And yeah, we take it down first. Very good. Now, Link, you have to wait for him to form the platform, form the portal. We have to go to the Parece realm to get access to this, so that we can activate that portal that was in the other place. Before that, we have some fights that we need to do. Our break climax with the sword has an absurdly large range. This enemy is called Allegiance. We do some damage to him before performing a torture attack. A torture attack will get rid of the rest of his health. To the back here, there's a chest. This chest has crafting materials going to be needed for endgame, which I'll get to talk about a bit more once we get there. Now, what I'm collecting there is a golden LP record piece. For some of the golden LPs, they are split up into several pieces over the course of chapters or several chapters. I have to wait for Leafy to come. Sometimes it takes his precious time. And then he tells me to try and keep up. Bit of a troll. Yeah. Now we can go through these portals. We just have to zip through. Aida then does a kick.
Es que por esa misma razón, Manuel, no tengo
The
el
barrier that is
número de
surrounding the gates to hell,
nadie de
which
la
is where we want to be
escuela.
going. To make this contraption, Bayonetta uses a circle pole, and then the
La
next parts of this
citazana para la
level.
parte del puto cerebro.
Like so.
El puto
There is a
cerebro.
fight within the middle here, but it is not necessary for us to verse it. Instead, we can just jump through Pantherform around it, like so, and we can avoid the trigger. The second LP record piece is here. The weapon that we get from this LP is extremely important for later part in the run, which I'll get to show once we get there. These two enemies, I try and clump them up together if possible to do multiple damage. And yeah, we take them down. To do damage to both. After that fight, I make sure that I have full magic meter for Armored Climax, because it's going to be an underwater fight here. Use a red lollipop for extra attack damage, and then we get the bat out by using punch double kick. The final kick, when in the air, when not grounded, the final kick will summon the bat, which is very important for hitting multiple enemies. Now we're getting chased by the golem, and we just have to run and jump in Pantherform to make sure that he doesn't catch up to them. And he goes down. Another demonic enemy comes in. Try to get which time from his attacks, she'll load the bullets into him, and he goes down. So yeah, holding down the attacks is really important in Bayonetta combat because those bullets can, rack up a lot of the damage. So very important. And then that's the end of that chapter. If you have a little donation you'd like to squeeze in, now is a good time.
Yes, I would love to. I have $100 from Jacko's 77, and it just says less than 3.
Awesome, thank you. So this chapter is the Gates of Hell. So in this chapter, we have another contraption that needs to form. Loki needs to form for us, and we're going to use it, with spin, and the buildings in this next part will form. We're going to be seeing the witch twist technique used once again, as there is a fight in the middle of here. But using the witch twist technique, you can actually go. I dropped it, unfortunately, that's okay. There we go, awesome. You can make it across. Yeah, there's a bit of timing with witch twisting, so good thing to practice, it's always something I have to practice. We go into this portal, now in Parece again. There's a fight that's going to spawn in. I go into the menu and I use a Mega Lollipop, make a purple lollipop so that we have full magic gauge to perform Armored Climax. I do punch double kick. And we have another Gravitas who spawns in. Now, something that happens in fights is that enemies can drop a consumable weapon that Bayonetta can use in combat. And Gravitas, this angel here, he drops a weapon that has the property to freeze enemies. And the reason why I pick it up is because near the end of this chapter, there's an enemy that we're going to be versing, which is very agile and moves around a lot. So this weapon is going to be very helpful for us to keep them in place so that we can do lots of damage to them. I'll just use the witch twist move to get back up. And we're versing another golem. Below there, I collected the final LP record piece for a weapon we're going to be using later. Lots of bullet damage. This golem has a form that we haven't seen before, which is like this dog form. You can do this charge, which is can be very annoying. And then once all the enemy health is down, we can take them. And then summons another one of her infernal demons. His name is like a conch here, which are like these hairy hands that play with the golem's insides like a volleyball and then slap it into the gates of hell. Okay. Now we're going to be versing an enemy whose name is Prophet, which is who we're going to be using this ice weapon on. Because it turns into an ice cube. Also going to be using punch kick, weapon switching. The damage from the kicks, because the bullets come from her hands and feet during that. Very good. And then we go into the second phase. Prophet throws a building at Bayonetta. The Bayonetta gets mad about flight to punch up the building and punch the Prophet away. So we'll use the ice again on him. And then that's it. So now that we've had access to the gates of hell after this, now the next chapter is got next 2 chapters, or 3 chapters actually, are going to be set in Inferno. So you're going to see the setting is going to be very different. We also collect the hammer. The hammer is a very slow and heavy weapon. However, typically very slow and heavy. However, it is possible using jump attack cancelling to make the hammer very fast. Because usually the hammer is slow but deals a lot of damage. But for the speedrun, we have a way in which we can make it a very fast and heavy hitting weapon, which I'll get to show off in the next fight. So this is Inferno. Setting is very brave and very demonic. Also has centipedes in hell. So you get to see them too. We just need to fall down here. So if there's any donations that need to be read, this is a good opportunity before we get to the next fight.
I have $10 from Creed that says, Gala, let's get that PB. Gala gang, let's go.
Cool. Okay. So now we're falling down. We're going to be versing a demonic spider. Before we do that, I'm going to be equipping the hammer. I'm using a mega purple lollipop, mega red lollipop for attack damage. Yellow lollipops give Bayonetta invincibility, meaning that she won't be able to get damage. Using upper climax, we get those very epic hammer waves. He dived down on me, which is not very nice. Okay. So we do the first attack, which is the punch attack, with the hammer, and then jump, and then do it again. And by doing that, you can get that first attack over and over, which is very good. It is also possible to charge the hammer, like this, when holding it down. And then we're going to do jump cancelling with the hammer. Very good damage they can get out. And this enemy that comes in here, it has the ability to turn Bayonetta into Little Cereza, which is Bayonetta's child form. But using the hammer, we can take him down fast. This next fight coming up, we're going to be versing an enemy whose name is Sloth. And despite their name, they are not a very slow or lethargic enemy. They're actually very quick, and they're like a swordsman. So we'll see. Start their fight, they will always do this one jump move. Try and get this time, and then activate on climax, so we get the flurry of the large waves. And yeah, sometimes he can be very dodgy and dodgy good attacks, but thankfully we could take him out like that. Crack open the capsule for the walkway, and then we can progress on forward. Now this segment here, we're going to be fighting alongside Rodan, which is the shopkeeper. You might recognize him whenever we go into the store. Now Rodan is extremely powerful. He has moves where he can just one-shot enemies like that. He also has an incredibly powerful ground slam, which does like a AoE attack damage to the floor to all the enemies in the surrounding area. He is extremely powerful, so we're hoping that he will be very aggressive and take all these enemies out, because he's a lot more powerful than us to take these enemies out. And this is a good opportunity for any donations, as we're just going to be trying to hope that Rodan is in our favor right now. So yeah, if you have any donations that need to be read, this is a good opportunity.
Sure. I have an anonymous $20 donation that says, have to donate during the Bayonetta 2 run. I've never seen a runner make such a difficult game look so easy, and especially not while explaining every step of the run. Thank you so much to everyone for all of your hard work. P.S. and Knuckles. And actually that bid is now, since I checked on it last, at 1,700 out of the 2,500 needed, I believe. So you want the runner to wear the Knuckles gloves tomorrow for sure. Keep those donations coming in.
Awesome. Yeah, keep going with donations.
All right. I've got $50 from XSkyline22, and it says, hey Gala, glad to see you at another event. Let's get a PB at a marathon. Gala gang for life.
Thank you, Skyline.
And then $20 from Not Your BF that says, thank you to all the amazing people doing Flame Fatale. Keep it.
Awesome.
Now the next chapter, Inferno and its ruler, is going to be a boss fight, which is actually my favorite chapter in the game. Casually, I think the fight is a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. In the speedrun, we have a very effective method of defeating her.
Good thing the 3 of us girls
shows the power of the
enjoy
hammer.
a good cat fight.
Because one thing about the hammer is that the hammer is very good at stunning enemies, especially the waves and upper climax when jump cancelling. So let's see how that is. So I use a purple lollipop and a red for extra attack damage. When I see the magic meter get to about half, I use another purple lollipop. We go to the next phase. Charge up the hammer, slam it down. Jump cancelling, she doesn't really get an opportunity to attack. She's just very overwhelmed with getting smacked by a hammer. She gets dazed, rip off her body parts, because inside her body is Jean's soul or spirit. So the whole reason why Bayonetta ventured all this way to hell was to save Jean. Yeah. That's one of the main plot lines of Bayonetta 2. Save your friends. That was Inferno and its ruler. Now we're just gonna buy some more lollipops. Very important, because it really speeds up fights. And now this next chapter, Lemon Sage, it starts off with this bit of a running segment. Shall I get to show it? We're riding on the back of Diomedes. So this is a really good opportunity for donations, because my thing that I'm just going to try and do is just run through as fast as possible and then just slice the enemies when they come. So if you have any donations to read, this is a very good opportunity.
Sure. I'd actually just like to point out to chat that we are about $76 away from breaking through 56,000, which is incredible. If you wanted to get some donations in, if you wanted to do a $5 hype train, anything that makes you happy, I would love to see us push past 56,000 by the end of the run. Obviously, we still have lots of time, but that would be a fun goal to get through. And as for donations, I have a $25 donation from Hello Bees, and it says, I definitely miss the live events, but I'm so glad we can still find a way to enjoy GDQ and keep raising money for charity. If everyone watching right now just put $5 in, we'd have 80K easy. Let's get that hype going. And they are referring to that 88K goal we have for new Pokemon Snap. I also have $100 from Anonymous, and it just says, thanks for promoting such a good cause. Thank you for your donation. And then a $200 anonymous donation. There was no comment for that one, but much appreciated. There is also a very intense bid war happening for the stairs versus elevator Final Fantasy VIII bid war going on. So Take the Stairs currently is ahead by $655, and then Ride the Elevator is $500. So right now, you all want Cloud to take the stairs, but remember, you can donate towards that incentive, and you can flip it either which way. So check out the incentives on gamesdonequick.com and go to donate.
Awesome. See, this is Lemon Sage. We're going to be using the power of the hammer and jump cancelling. Send it to the second phase. We're going to be doing that again with Umbran Climax. Yeah, he's down very fast. Jump cancelling with the hammer is very, very strong. Because yeah, usually the hammer is big damage but slow, but jump cancelling means big damage but also fast. So, yeah. Like speedrunners like a bit of speed and big damage. So very good. Now, after that chapter, Bayonetta gets sent back in time. So the next couple of chapters are actually going to be set in the past. So this chapter is